Some people in life have this uncanny knack for making everything about them seem perfect, almost to a point where it feels like a sugar-coated performance. These overly nice individuals, the ones who shower you with compliments and favors, often leave you questioning their motives. It's not that kindness itself is suspicious, it's that their brand of kindness feels rehearsed, calculated, like a script meant to charm you into letting your guard down. They're the kind of people who'll tell you how amazing you are, offer you unsolicited help, and leave you thinking, wait, was that a compliment or a critique wrapped in sugar? Imagine this: a neighbor who seems like they've stepped out of a feel-good movie. They bring you cookies, just because, compliment your every move, and insist they're always there for you. At first you might think, wow, what a gem of a person. But soon you realize their every act of kindness comes with an unspoken price tag. If you don't reciprocate, or worse, fail to thank them the way they expect, their demeanor changes. Suddenly, their sweetness is gone, replaced by passive-aggressive remarks or outright hostility. It's as if their kindness was never about you. It was always about what they could gain. This kind of behavior stems from a desire to control. Not control in the loud, domineering way we often associate with the term, but in a subtle, manipulative way that leaves you questioning your instincts. They disarm you with their seemingly genuine gestures, making you feel guilty for doubting them. It's a clever tactic because who questions kindness? But beneath the surface, it's a power play. Their good deeds aren't rooted in genuine care. They're calculated moves in a long game of emotional chess. They're setting the stage, positioning themselves as someone you owe, someone who has been so kind and giving that it feels wrong not to meet their expectations. Let's break it down further. People like this thrive on control, but they're not the obvious control freaks who bark orders or dominate every conversation. Instead, they manipulate situations quietly. They plant ideas, twist narratives, and make you feel like their way is the only way. Ever had someone try to help you make a decision, only to realize later they weren't helping? They were steering you in a direction that benefited them. That's the hallmark of a subtle manipulator. They cloak their interference in care, making it seem like they're looking out for your best interests, when in reality, they're ensuring things go their way. A classic example is the friend who always has an opinion about your choices. You're excited about a new opportunity, but they swoop in with a list of reasons why it's a bad idea, couched in concern for your well-being. "I'm just worried you'll get overwhelmed," they'll say, making you second-guess yourself. At first you think, they must really care about me. But over time, a pattern emerges. Their advice always seems to benefit them more than it benefits you. It's not about helping, it's about control. Control isn't their only game, though. Some people wield manipulation like a finely honed skill. They make you doubt your own memories, twist your words, and even convince you that your feelings are overreactions. These are the gaslighters, the ones who plant seeds of doubt so subtly that you don't notice until you're deeply entangled in their narrative. Their favorite phrase, "You're remembering it wrong," or the even more dismissive, "You're being too sensitive." They use guilt as a weapon, flipping the script so that you feel like the bad guy for setting boundaries or expressing your needs. And then there are the credit thieves. These people have mastered the art of swooping in at the last minute, taking your hard work and presenting it as their own. You pour your heart and soul into a project, only to watch them bask in the accolades as if they were the driving force behind it all. It's infuriating, but what's worse is how often they get away with it. They count on the fact that most people won't speak up, that you'll stay quiet to avoid confrontation or to keep the peace. It's a calculated gamble, and more often than not, it pays off for them. The irony is, these people are often celebrated for their charm, their ability to get things done, and their savvy approach to life. Society tends to reward confidence even when it's built on a foundation of deceit and manipulation. And calling them out, that's a whole other battle. They'll play the victim, accuse you of overreacting, or twist the story so convincingly that you start doubting yourself. So how do you deal with these kinds of people? It starts with trusting your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore those little moments when their actions don't align with their words. Look for patterns, compliments that come with a sting, favors that come with expectations, or help that feels more like interference. When you spot those patterns, set boundaries. Be firm and unapologetic about protecting your peace. And most importantly, don't let their behavior make you question your worth. Manipulators, control freaks, and credit thieves thrive on making others feel small because it makes them feel bigger. But their actions say more about their insecurities than they ever will about you. Recognize their tactics, stand your ground, and remember, your value isn't determined by their validation. The world is full of genuine, kind-hearted people who don't need to manipulate, control, or steal credit to feel good about themselves. Seek out those people, nurture those relationships, and let go of anyone who drains your energy or makes you question your instincts. Your peace of mind is worth far more than the illusion of harmony with someone who doesn't truly respect or value you. And then there are those who wield their need for control like a silent weapon, wrapping it in layers of charm and good intentions. At first, it feels harmless, even helpful. They position themselves as the one person who has it all figured out, the one who can fix everything. They aren't loud or forceful about it. No, their control comes in subtler ways. It feels like guidance, like they're looking out for you. But as time passes, you begin to notice something strange. Every decision starts to feel less like yours and more like theirs. Imagine this scenario. You're at a dinner buffet, building your plate with the dishes you like, when suddenly they swoop in. "Oh, you don't want that," they say, swapping out your choices for what they think you should have. At first you might laugh it off, thinking they're just quirky or overly helpful, but it doesn't stop there. Soon they're giving unsolicited advice about your job, your relationships, even how you should spend your free time. They frame it as care, but it's not. It's their way of taking over. These are the kinds of people who can't handle the thought of losing control, and so they subtly impose their will on everyone around them. It's not about helping, it's about domination. They'll twist their concern into a tool of manipulation, planting doubts in your mind about your own decisions. "Are you sure that's a good idea?" they'll say, tilting their head in that condescending way that makes you second-guess yourself. They thrive on making you question your instincts, your confidence, and ultimately, your autonomy. Their tactics are as varied as they are insidious. One moment they're the hero, swooping in to save the day, whether you asked for it or not. The next, they're playing the victim, guilt-tripping you for daring to assert yourself. "I was just trying to help," they'll say, as though your independence is some kind of betrayal. And when all else fails, they turn to fear. "If you do it your way and it doesn't work, don't come crying to me," they warn, planting the idea that failure is inevitable without their input. But the truth is, their obsession with control isn't about you at all. It's about their own insecurities. They fear chaos, fear the unknown, and instead of dealing with those fears, they project them onto others. By controlling you, they feel like they're controlling the uncontrollable parts of their own lives. It's a fragile kind of power, one that crumbles the moment you set boundaries and refuse to play along. Dealing with these people can feel like an uphill battle because they rarely see themselves as controlling. To them, they're just helping or protecting you. But their help is suffocating. their protection a cage. It's like being in a game where they keep changing the rules, always finding new ways to maintain their grip on you. They don't care about fairness or collaboration. They care about winning. And their idea of winning is simple: you doing things their way. It's exhausting, isn't it? Always feeling like you have to tiptoe around their need for control, like any attempt to assert yourself might spark a meltdown or a guilt trip. But here's the hard truth. They only have as much control as you give them. The moment you stop playing along, their power over you disappears. It's not easy to break free, especially if there's someone close to you, but it's necessary. Your life is yours, not theirs. Then there are the people who, instead of taking control directly, take something even more personal: your credit. These are the ones who, for some reason, can't seem to acknowledge someone else's hard work without inserting themselves into the narrative. You could spend weeks pouring your energy into a project, only for them to swoop in at the last moment and bask in the glory. They'll slap their name on your efforts, spin the story to make it seem like they played a crucial role, and then stand there smiling as others shower them with praise. It's infuriating, and the worst part: they're often so smooth about it that calling them out feels impossible. They might frame their credit theft as teamwork. "Oh, we worked so hard on this." Translation: you did the work, but I'll share in the accolades. Or they'll twist reality, claiming they inspired you. "I suggested that idea, so it's kind of our success." And if you dare to speak up, they'll paint you as petty or difficult. Why does it matter who gets the credit? We're all in this together. But it does matter. It matters because your hard work deserves recognition. It matters because their behavior isn't just inconsiderate, it's disrespectful. When someone takes credit for your efforts, they're devaluing you. They're saying, "Your contribution only matters as long as it benefits me." And that's not just hurtful, it's toxic. People who steal credit often do so out of insecurity. They crave validation, but lack the ability or the willingness to earn it themselves. It's easier to piggyback off someone else's success than to put in the effort to create their own. And society, unfortunately, rewards this behavior. We're quick to celebrate the loudest voices in the room, even when those voices belong to people who haven't done the work. So how do you deal with a credit thief? First, don't stay silent. Speak up, calmly and confidently. "Actually, I worked on that part," you might say, reclaiming your effort without getting drawn into their game. Second, keep receipts. Document your contributions so that if someone tries to rewrite history, you have the facts to back you up. And finally, remember that their actions say more about them than they ever will about you. Their inability to shine without stealing someone else's light is a reflection of their own inadequacies, not yours. Whether it's control freaks, credit thieves, or manipulators, the common thread is the same. They thrive on making others feel small so they can feel big. But their power is an illusion. The moment you recognize their tactics and refuse to play along, their grip on you weakens. It's not easy to stand up to people like this. It takes courage, confidence, and sometimes even a willingness to walk away. But your peace, your autonomy, and your hard-earned success are worth it. Always. And then there are the manipulators, the ones who operate in the shadows, pulling strings so subtly you don't even realize you're part of their game until it's too late. They're not loud, not overt. They don't demand attention. Instead, they work quietly, planting seeds of doubt, twisting reality, and slowly chipping away at your confidence and sense of control. What makes them so dangerous is how effortless it all seems, how natural. They don't come across as scheming or calculating. No, they seem helpful, caring even. But beneath that facade is someone whose ultimate goal is to steer things in their favor, no matter what it costs you. Manipulation isn't just about lying or deceit, it's about control. control over how you perceive the world, how you make decisions, and even how you see yourself. They use guilt, flattery, and even fear to bend situations to their will. And the scariest part? It often doesn't feel like manipulation at all. You might even find yourself thanking them for their advice or support, not realizing they're the ones creating the very problems they're pretending to solve. Take gaslighting, for example. It's one of the most insidious tools in a manipulator's arsenal. They'll make you question your own reality, your memories, and your instincts. "I never said that," they'll insist, even when you know they did. Or, "You're overreacting," as though your feelings are the problem, not their actions. Over time, this constant undermining can make you doubt everything you thought you knew. You begin to wonder if you're too sensitive, too emotional, too unreasonable. But you're not. That's just what they want you to believe. And then there's guilt-tripping, the emotional equivalent of quicksand. Manipulators are masters at making you feel bad for having boundaries. "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me?" they'll say, turning a simple no into an act of betrayal. Or they'll play the victim, spinning the narrative to make you feel like the bad guy. "I can't believe you'd think that of me. I thought we were closer than that." It's a tactic designed to make you second-guess yourself, to keep you tangled up in their web of control. Let's not forget the false flattery, a subtle but effective way to disarm you. They'll butter you up with compliments, making you feel special, valued, even indispensable. "You're so talented. No one else could handle this like you can." But those words are often a setup, a way to lower your defenses so they can manipulate you further. It's not real admiration. It's a tool, a means to an end. I once knew someone who excelled at this kind of manipulation. Let's call him Ryan. Ryan had a knack for making you feel like he was always in your corner, always looking out for your best interests. But in reality, every kind word, every piece of advice came with strings attached. If you followed his guidance, he'd take credit for your success. If you didn't, he'd subtly undermine you, planting doubts and eroding your confidence. It wasn't until I stepped back and looked at the bigger picture that I realized the truth. Ryan wasn't helping me. He was controlling me, all while making it seem like he was my biggest supporter. Manipulators like Ryan are skilled because they know how to exploit your vulnerabilities. They pay attention to your fears, your insecurities, and even your kindness. They use that information to steer you in the direction that benefits them, all while making you think it's your idea. It's not just clever, it's calculated. And the longer it goes unchecked, the more entrenched their control becomes. But manipulation isn't always about subtlety. Sometimes it's blatant, a brazen refusal to accept responsibility for their actions. This brings us to the people who never apologize. For them, admitting fault is unthinkable. It's not that they don't make mistakes, it's that their ego won't let them own up to them. To them, saying, "I'm sorry," is a sign of weakness, a loss of control, and so they avoid it at all costs, twisting situations, shifting blame, and even denying reality to protect their fragile pride. You've likely encountered someone like this. Maybe they messed up at work, causing a ripple effect of chaos for everyone around them. But instead of apologizing, they double down, insisting, "Well, if you had been clearer, this wouldn't have happened." Or maybe they hurt your feelings, but when you confront them, they respond with, "I'm sorry you feel that way," as though your emotions are the problem, not their actions. It's exhausting, isn't it? Being around someone who refuses to acknowledge their mistakes feels like running in circles. No matter how clear the evidence, no matter how obvious the issue, they find a way to deflect, deny, or downplay. It's not just frustrating, it's damaging. Their refusal to take responsibility creates a toxic dynamic, one where they're always the victim and you're always the one expected to bend, to forgive, to move on. But here's the truth. Their inability to apologize isn't about you. It's about them, about their fear of vulnerability, their need for control, and their unwillingness to face their own flaws. It's a sign of insecurity, not strength, and while it might feel personal, it's not. Their behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not your worth. So how do you navigate relationships with these kinds of people? It starts with recognizing the patterns. If someone consistently manipulates, refuses to apologize, or makes you feel like your boundaries are unreasonable, trust your instincts. Set clear limits, and don't let their behavior make you doubt yourself. You have every right to protect your peace, to stand up for your worth, and to demand respect. And remember, you don't need their permission to move on. Whether they're manipulators, control freaks, or unapologetic egomaniacs, their behavior doesn't define you. You are not the sum of their actions or their opinions. You are your own person, capable, deserving, and strong. Don't let anyone take that from you. And then there are those people who never seem to take responsibility for anything, no matter how much chaos they cause. You confront them with clear facts, undeniable mistakes, and instead of a simple, "I'm sorry," they offer every excuse in the book, masterfully sidestepping accountability. It's infuriating because apologies aren't just about words. They're about acknowledging someone else's pain, about admitting that you were wrong and making the effort to repair the damage. But these people can't or won't apologize. To them, saying those words feels like giving up power, and they'll do anything to maintain control of the narrative. Instead, they pull out their well-worn bag of tricks. First, there's the non-apology apology, which usually sounds like, "I'm sorry if you were offended." Translation: "I'm not really sorry. I'm just sorry you reacted this way." It shifts the blame to you, making it seem like your feelings are the real issue, not their behavior. Then there's the blame shift, where they turn the tables entirely. "Well, if you hadn't done X, I wouldn't have reacted that way." Translation: "This is actually your fault." And if that doesn't work, they'll try complete denial, acting as if the situation never happened. "I don't even remember saying that," they'll claim, as if amnesia somehow absolves them of their actions. Here's the problem. People who refuse to apologize aren't just stubborn. They're emotionally dangerous. Why? Because an apology is a bridge, an acknowledgement that what happened was wrong, and an invitation to repair trust. Without it, the hurt lingers, it festers, and the relationship remains fractured, unhealed. Refusing to apologize sends a clear message. Your feelings don't matter to me, and in the long run, that's a huge red flag. I once worked with someone like this. Let's call him Steve. Steve was confident, charismatic, and had a knack for charming people. But when it came to accountability, he was a black hole. One time, he completely botched an important project deadline. It was his fault, plain and simple, but when the consequences hit, he refused to admit any wrongdoing. Instead, he told the team, "Well, if everyone had been clearer about their roles, this wouldn't have happened." It was a bold, blatant shift of blame, and it left everyone stunned and frustrated. But Steve didn't stop there. He doubled down, acting as if he were the victim of poor communication, even though everyone knew the truth. Over time, people stopped trusting him. It wasn't just about the missed deadline, it was about his refusal to own his mistakes. Because if someone can't admit when they're wrong, how can you trust them to make things right in the future? That's the truth about people who never apologize. Their refusal to take responsibility isn't about strength, it's about fragility. They're so afraid of being seen as weak or flawed that they'd rather twist reality than face their mistakes. But real strength comes from humility, from admitting when you've messed up and working to make amends. Then there's the deeper layer. People who steal more than just credit or manipulate you into questioning yourself. They steal your energy. These are the toxic individuals who seem to thrive on drama, creating constant emotional turbulence in your life. They pick fights over nothing, stir up conflict where there was peace, and seem addicted to chaos. It's as though they can't function without some kind of emotional storm swirling around them. And the worst part, they pull you into their mess, making you part of the drama whether you want to be or not. Why do they do it? Because attention, even negative attention, feeds them. For them, drama is a source of validation. They feel important when people are reacting to them, even if those reactions are rooted in frustration, anger, or sadness. They'll create problems out of thin air, twist conversations to provoke you, and then sit back and watch as the emotional fallout unfolds. And you? You're left exhausted, drained, wondering why every interaction with them feels like running an emotional marathon. It's because these people aren't content with calm. They thrive in chaos, and they'll drag you into it if you let them. But here's what you need to remember. You have a choice. You don't have to participate in their drama. You don't have to let their toxic energy invade your peace. It's perfectly okay to set boundaries, to say no, and to walk away when someone's behavior is draining you. Because here's the hard truth. People like this rarely change. They don't wake up one day and decide to stop creating chaos. The best thing you can do is protect your peace, distance yourself from their drama, and refuse to be part of their emotional roller coaster. The same goes for the manipulators who try to make you doubt your instincts. They thrive on making you feel small, on planting seeds of insecurity and watching them grow. But you don't have to play their game. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let their words make you question your reality. Manipulators love to twist the truth, to make you feel like you're imagining things or being too sensitive. But you know your truth. Hold on to it, and let's not forget about the people who steal credit, who bask in the glory of your hard work as though they earned it themselves. It's tempting to stay quiet, to avoid conflict. But here's the thing, silence gives them power. Speak up, reclaim your achievements. You deserve to be recognized for your effort and talent. And if someone tries to twist the narrative, stay calm, state the facts, and let your work speak for itself. Life is too short to let toxic people rent space in your mind. Whether they're manipulators, credit thieves, drama addicts, or unapologetic egomaniacs, their behavior is a reflection of their own insecurities, not your worth. You can't change them, but you can change how much access they have to your life. And that's the key. Boundaries. Boundaries are your greatest tool in dealing with toxic people. They allow you to protect your peace, maintain your sense of self, and refuse to be pulled into someone else's chaos. Boundaries aren't about being cold or unkind. They're about self-respect. They're about saying, I value myself too much to accept this behavior. The world is full of incredible, kind, and supportive people. People who celebrate your successes without trying to take credit, who apologize when they're wrong, and who lift you up without hidden agendas. Seek those people out. Hold on to them. Nurture those relationships because they're the ones that bring joy, peace, and meaning to your life. And for the others, the ones who drain your energy, make you question your worth, or refuse to take accountability, let them go. Walk away if you have to, because your peace, your growth, and your happiness are worth far more than keeping toxic people around for the sake of appearances. You deserve a life filled with love, respect, and authenticity. Never let anyone make you feel like you're asking for too much by wanting the bare minimum: kindness, decency, and honesty. You have the right to protect your peace, to live on your terms, and to surround yourself with people who genuinely value you for who you are. So take a deep breath. Set those boundaries, trust yourself, and remember, the only power toxic people have over you is the power you give them. Take it back. stand tall, and never ever let anyone make you feel small.